It's Saturday, May 10, 2025. So back out the out yard. You can see I brought my boxes of comb, brought my fencing stuff, and this is because not long after I talked to you earlier today, not long after I made my video yesterday, I got a message from the package supplier saying my packages will be ready to pick up today, being Saturday. So I thought I'd come out and do some more work, bring the boxes of comb, etc. Bring some fencing things. I still don't have enough to finish. I need some T-posts actually. And then go get the bees, because my out yard is about halfway between my home and where I pick up the bees. So I thought, save the bees some miles, save me some miles, and I'll just go and get them and bring them over here, put them right in the packages, right in the hives. So this is actually looking like a pretty nice little bee yard. Let me show you around. So as mentioned, the layout, you can see it a little better now. I'm gonna make myself a bit of a gate here, open up into the less congested area in the corner here. Yeah, I think this will work out just fine. It doesn't seem to use up a great deal of space. Of course, it's only 16 colonies. I could put one more, I could put 20 here pretty easily. Just put one more quad over here. And yeah, so I've got the feeding shims because I'm going to be feeding these packages the apipasta. I'm going to give them, I'll give them a half a pound of patty as well, because I'll show you what is and isn't in these boxes. There's nothing in the comb. It's nice comb. It's brand new, fresh honeycomb, nicely drawn, but there's nothing in it. So the bees are going to need some nutrition. They'll get some carbohydrates from the pasta, the fondant, and I'll get them a bit of patty for protein. Now, we're starting to see a few of these nice yellow flowers out here. So that I'm encouraged that that's going to give them some nectar. But boy, if it's like last year, I had a beautiful dandelion crop last year, and it was too cold for the bees to fly, so it was totally wasted. So they'll get a little bit of nectar off of that, hopefully. And then the dandelion pollen really isn't that nutritious. So maybe my supplement will make up for that shortfall. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna pack this in. This is as far as I can go right now. And I may just go and get the bees and come and get these installed. It's just after 7 p.m., which is perfect time to hive bees. It is a bit warm, but still not too bad. And my sweet wife has come to help me hive these bees. So I'm going to get her to hold the camera, and I'm going to show you what I'm doing. And don't use this as a model for how to do this right, because I haven't done this in 10 years and I've never done it with a box. Last time I did it was, they were in tubes. They're very easy when they're in tubes. The boxes, not quite as much. Now we've taken 4 frames out, and I'm only putting one back in, and I'll show you why here in a second. This is why, right here. This container of it's not liquid, and the bees are walking around on it, so I don't know exactly what that is. So I've got a polystyrene box here with a metal screen. Queen is here. A little staple. And there's a little cap on the end of the cage, so they have not started eating the candy yet. And I'll just dump these in here. People often use a spritz of sugar syrup, which just kind of helps the bees not fly as much. I'm putting the boxes down at the entrances. My hives are so close together though, they don't fit. Because there's bees in the box yet, they just kind of walk their way out. I think the reason they use polystyrene instead of wood, there's no wood involved here at all, is because it's international shipping. And being an organic product, you know, wood has an additional layer of complexity for import. So what I've been doing, leaving these frames out, is I just put this can of syrup here and pinch that on the top bars. That's about a pound of my fondant and about a pound of my patty, because there's nothing in here. There's no syrup, there's no pollen, there's nothing for the bees in these combs, because they're just fresh honeycomb. That was a motorcycle, by the way. Sounded like a little tiny motorcycle. Really. Okay. That's 3. 13 to go. People get very technical as far as installing packages, and that's fine. I don't think it's rocket science at all. And I think too many instructions really just ends up confusing people, and they miss the important parts. I have extra frame. I don't remember where these packages came from, and I don't remember the size of the package. That's a couple pounds, I don't know, maybe 2 pounds, maybe 3, I don't know. Give my little feeding shim here. This little insulative foamy is going to be useful, because the next 3 days are going to be quite hot here. So that's it. That's what I'm doing. And my back is sore already. I've been here all day kind of building fence and putting things together, so I'm really kind of tired. But we'll get these bees in here, and then they should be nice and happy in their new home, hopefully. Thanks for watching. Well, that worked really well. Because I'm leaving the little syrup tub in, we'll take these frames home for now. I'll bring those back in a day or two. And I'll leave the little containers here for now too. I just hope we don't get a lot of wind and, you know, blow things around. So those bees, they just walk in. They can find the queen. You know, they're crafty. They know exactly what to do. And that's it. It's Tuesday. A giant sandhill crane just flew over real close to me. What an immense bird. It's Tuesday, May the 13th, 2025. I last spoke to you on Saturday, and it's been an eventful couple of days, so I'll catch you up. Saturday, as you recall, I put those packages in, and I didn't have all of the fence material I needed to finish my electric fence. So I put fence posts up and whatnot, and I put some of my equipment there and whatnot. It just wasn't all hooked up. But I did connect my solar panel and my battery and my camera. Well, Saturday night, she just stung me right in the chin. Saturday night, I got a real good video of a little bear walking by. He was... What is it with these bees? He was snooping around, but he walked on by. So, Sunday, I had a choice. My plan was to go to town on Tuesday, today, and get the rest of my fencing materials. But that was another few nights away, so I decided I'll go to town, go to Winnipeg. So that's, you know, probably 75 miles round trip. And get the rest of my fencing materials to finish that fence. And so I decided to do that. Sunday was a very long day. Saturday was a very long day too, setting up the outyard and then getting the bees, installing the bees, etc. And so I had thought, well, I'm going to take Sunday off, or at least, you know, sleep in, get some rest. I did get a little bit, I suppose, but then it was off to racing again. Off to Winnipeg. Get the materials, set up the fence. That took a long time. Fencing really frustrates me, and that's partly because I don't understand how the components are supposed to go together. There's so many options for fence posts and whatnot, and that's just not the way to do it. I mean, you know, each fence post takes a different kind of connector. A T-post takes a T-post connector, a wooden post takes a wooden post connector, you know, all that kind of thing. So I had to get just the right thing, and I still didn't get just the right thing. Not every store has every option, so, you know, you just have to take whatever the store has. It's very frustrating. So I got the fence going, and there was a deer. After I left there was a deer walk by, but that was it. So, and then Monday, I get up, and there's a big cloud of smoke to the west. Now, we live just a little more than a quarter of a mile from the dike road on the marsh. and beyond the dike road is marsh, and then it's Lake Winnipeg. It's the 11th largest lake in the world, very big lake, and we're just kind of on the south basin. It's marshy, it's little islands and things, shoals, whatnot. So this time of year, the marsh is filled with this kind of dry grass, and this high, and that stuff burns like gasoline. So what transpired that day, they went all day. We had 4 fire departments out here. We had water bombers, we had a couple of helicopters, and the fire got to the dike road, quarter of a mile from my house. Unfortunately, my neighbor lives on the other side of the dike road, and so his yard was threatened, and I don't believe there was any damage to the buildings, but I could see the bush was on fire close when the helicopter was dumping water on it. So he had a very, very much more stressful day than I had, and my day was stressful enough. Today I had planned to go to Winnipeg for a meeting and do deliveries. I decided to not go because there are still fires in the area. I can see one coming up just to the north of me. I don't think that would threaten us because the wind is south-southwest here. And yeah, so that's how my days have gone. And sorry, I sound like I'm out of sorts, and that's only because I am. And I just saw this plume come up in the north, and I'm wondering what in the world's going on there now. I thought we were kind of out of danger. The marsh can't hurt us anymore because it's all burned. There's hundreds of acres out there that are black. It's no loss, it's just marsh, but you know, there's the little animals and stuff that would be lost. Fire like that is a natural occurrence. It revitalizes the land, etc. There's nothing wrong with the fire in and of itself, but it starts to threaten our homes, and that's what's wrong with it. So that brings us to today, Tuesday. On Sunday, on Saturday when I went and got my bees, my packages, the package supplier provides an extra queen in a cage, just in case, right? And near as I could tell, all the queens that I installed were okay. So I brought that queen home, and Sunday morning I made a split with that queen. I pilfered my one strongest hive over there again. I hope I'm not doing a disservice, but what I did was I pilfered that. I made a little split in this pro nuke with that queen. Now I pulled the frames fresh and put the queen in fresh, so I left the plug in the end of the cage, so they couldn't get at the candy. But one thing I didn't mention, it's been very windy, which is terrible with these fires, and it's been very, very hot. Maybe not hot for some places in the world, but it's getting up to the point where Canadians melt. I think it was 36 yesterday, and it's 30 or more now. There's a recon aircraft there checking on the fire situation. Without getting too emotional over it, I've said before and I'll say again, I'm so thankful there are people who are crazy enough to be soldiers and firefighters, because I'm not quite that brave and crazy. I think you got to be a little bit of both. Well, a lot of brave and a little bit crazy. And I say that in jest. I don't mean that to be negative toward firefighters. Because it's a terrifying and helpless feeling to see a 50-foot high wall of flame coming toward your house and your livelihood. And those firefighters are running toward it for my benefit. I'm sorry for that. So, because it's been so hot, and it is very hot today, I'm employing my little polystyrene 6-frame boxes. You can see that I brought that out. So my rule is that when I make a split in the yard and I want to leave it in the yard, I'll leave it in my cool building, closed in the nuke box for 2 nights. And that's why I like to use Pronux, because I can close the door and they're ventilated reasonably well. And I can leave them in my cool building for 2 nights. So that's Sunday night, Monday night. And I can bring them out here, they'll reorient to this spot. But I don't just want to leave them in this box because there's really no sun protection, and they might get pretty hot. The polystyrene excels at decoupling the inside and outside. So that's what I'm doing with that. I'm going to put that in there. I've done a few others. Here. I don't know where you can see them. I guess I can't see the screen very well. There's one over here. There's a couple over there. I just put in polystyrene. There's another one there behind the camera, which is that dead out queen. So let's transfer this hive. All right, I'll get my safety hat on here. The bees are, for some reason, they're trying to get me. I'm definitely getting old man back. Maybe it's called beekeeper's back. All right, they are ready to roll. I'll have to get one more frame, of course. Now they've had that queen in here the whole time, so they really shouldn't have started building cells. But I also want to check that, because I wasn't too discriminating. I've only put the 1 frame of brood in here. And there's my queen. My queen with the cage. Queen in the cage. This looks like a Daisy Beezy cage, but I don't think it quite is. It's got a little eye on the end of it here, where the string from the package was. Let's see. Oh, yeah, she's in there. It is nice that these queens are marked, actually. So there's just a little cap in this one. Jay-Z Beezy has a little different kind of a closer. Okay, we'll make sure get her tucked in there and do my best not to squash any bees. Okay, I just need to find another frame. Okay, now the combination of the foamy, which has some insulative value, and the polystyrene should really protect them from that hot sun today. That's all the bee work I have to do in this yard right now, but later on I'm going to go back to the outyard and I'll take those extra combs back with me and fill those boxes up, and I'll check for queen release. They should have gotten through the candy by now. Bring those portable feed containers back. I think that's all I need to do out there. I'm going to wait about a week, and then I hope to take my vaporizer over, give them some oxalic acid before any of the cells are capped, so I can hopefully kill most of the varroa on the bees. All right, that's all for now. Thanks for watching. It's Friday, May 16, 2025. Now, I was going to update you yesterday and show you what I was doing, but I was kind of running against the rain, and good thing I didn't delay, because it started raining just as I got back to the house. So what I did yesterday was I went to the outyard where I had installed the packages on Sunday, and the plan was install the packages Sunday. No, I installed those packages Saturday. Sorry, I installed the packages Saturday, and I was going to go back on Monday to check the queens and release the queens. Well, all this wildfire thing happened, and I was either busy or wore out enough to not go over there. I went over there yesterday, which was Thursday, and 4 of those queens were dead in their cages. Looks like the candy they put in those cages was pretty hard, difficult for the bees to eat, because there was a couple queens released, but not very many, and a lot of candy was still in the tube. So I was kind of dismayed at that. That's 25% of the queens dead. So now 4 queenless colonies out there. I do have the 1 extra queen that the provider gave me, so that's good. I can use that queen. And also, through circumstance, I might be coming into some queens this weekend. So if I do, then I'll take some of those over there as well. I may just take, if I get 4 from this weekend, I may just take the 4 over there and leave the leave the spare here, which I've already made a small split with that. So that's done, and that brings us to today. And thankfully, as I mentioned yesterday, I just got in before it started to rain, and it's been raining. No, it didn't rain really very much yesterday, but it did rain, and today it's a good drizzler rain. It's only 8 degrees outside, so really hoping that takes care of this fire situation. We had a report. There's There's a lot of cottage country around here, and also homes in, you know, wooded areas, and there's a lot of lakes and things. It's a very beautiful area. About 30 miles east of here is such an area. It's a gorgeous place, and it's all been evacuated because of forest fire. Very severe forest fire there. And, you know, I'm very thankful that around here, the wildfires that we had, I call that a wildfire because it was more of a grass fire, tall marsh grass. Did get into some trees and forests too. Out there, it's full-on forest fire. They've been having a terrible time with it. And there was a family that didn't get evacuated, and there was a couple of fatalities out there. So our hearts sure go out to that community. That's not far from home, you know. Just a terrifying thing. Just a terrifying thing, that wildfires, forest fires. I vowed to set up a firefighting system here with tanks. I have trailers, I have a good pump, you know, I have totes and whatnot. So I think I can set something up with the minimal, not minimal, but with less of an investment as starting from scratch. And there'd be no harm in putting that on the trailer, setting it up, getting it ready to go when there's a fire ban, because when there's a fire ban, that's when this happens, right? So we'll see when that happens. The pressure is off now. This whole thing is burned off, so it's no threat. We've got rain now, and there's no saying that that's going to end the threat, but I think it's going to go a long way. I hope 30 miles east of here is getting this rain that we're getting. Okay, so being that it's a rainy day, I'm working indoors. And guess what I'm working on? I'm working on this warming cabinet. And look at all these light sockets. So what goes in these light sockets are these ceramic lamps. Some people call those reptile ears, a little iguana on there. Reptile heaters. It's a lot like a light bulb, but it makes no visible light. So those will screw into the sockets here. I gave the guy 6 sockets. I don't think he'll need more than 4 lamps, but that just gives him extra capacity if he decides he needs that. So the heaters will sit along here, and the air will blow past them. It comes out of the top of the warming cabinet there, comes along, goes into the bottom of the warming cabinet here. I had to make a compromise. I don't like to try to get hot air to move down, but this is kind of a compromise. It's not straight down, and it's also, you know, the heater is along the way, so it's not like I'm making the air really hot and then trying to move it down. It's moving down as it's getting hotter. So I think that'll work quite well. Just needs some kind of circulation. So the capacity of this thing is up to the guy who's getting it. That's 150 watts. I think 600 watts is going to do it, but he'll have to see. He can add up to 900 watts with these bulbs if he wants, and then 900 watts plus the power that the fans use, which is not much, is still well under a 15 amp circuit for the system. Now, this big piece it's called valley flashing. Use it for a roof. So it's got a bit of a break in the middle. I need to make that more of a 90, because that valley flashing is going to go in this area here. So it'll sit here and then along here, but only about half of it. It's a 6-inch flashing. This is a 6-inch side. So it'll sit up, cover this, and cover this, just so that the heaters aren't radiating heat right on the plywood, just so it's a metal surface, and it'll extend through the majority of the length along here. These fans, I'm being careful to make sure that the fans are serviceable. There's just a screw here, and a screw holding it to the bottom, and that fan comes right out and can be replaced because they don't last forever. And I just want to make sure that I don't block these screws with the covering that I put on here. There's going to be a door here that opens up, hinges on this side. Then there's going to be a small fixed piece between here and here, just to tie these two pieces together. I'll be affixing another strip of this material to here so that I can then put a piece of polystyrene in the middle, in there. Having an edge of polystyrene is just asking for trouble. It will just get damaged and look terrible. So that's that. The cords for the fans. I'm going to come out. I'm going to just cut a little divot in here and come out of here. Initially, I was going to run outlets here inside for the fans to plug into, but then that's more wiring in the hot area, and it actually will take more wiring for me because the fans and the lights, fans and the heaters, work off two separate circuits because the fans run 100% of the time. The heaters will turn on and turn off with the thermostat. So what I can do is, because these cords are more than long enough, I can just put a divot in here, run these cords up, and I'll be affixing a control panel. I don't know if this is going to give you a visual or not. This is not what I'm going to use. I'll use a piece of plywood. So I'm going to put a control panel of sorts here. It'll likely be 6 inches like this, or maybe a little more. So I have lots of room. And then for the outlet for the fans, I'll put that on the back of this control panel. And then the master switch and the thermostat unit will affix to the front. So that should give him what he needs for that. And again, that's not the piece of material. Yeah, so I have to fashion a door. I have to put this piece on here. And I have to enclose this somehow. Not really sure how I'm going to do that, but I have to enclose this, protect it, keep the hot air in there so it's flowing the right way and whatnot. So that's going to be fussy. Fortunately, it's this is 45 degrees, so it's pretty standard. And once the cabinet is done, I'll sand the critical parts of it. I might do a few roundovers just to make it a little nicer to work with. And then on a nice day with not a lot of wind, I'm going to take it all outside and I'll paint it. I'll get my sprayer out and I'll paint it, because at that time, all of these cavities will be filled with polystyrene. And I'm trying to do a really nice job to fit that stuff really nice. And then when I paint that, then it'll paint right over the polystyrene and make it look nicer because it'll be one color, not blue styrofoam. And the paint will protect the styrofoam to a certain degree. It'll make it, he needs to be able to wash, like it needs to be a washable surface, just to sit in his facility. Yeah, so that's all I'm doing here. It's really boring stuff. I'm just cutting little pieces of wood and fixing them together. And that's, yeah, that's a pretty boring day for you to watch that, so I won't bore you with it. I really appreciate you watching the rest of this video. And if you don't mind, say a prayer for the people in the forest fires up here. There's forest fires a lot of places too, so pray for them too. I really appreciate that. It looks like I'll have a special guest here this weekend, and they are going to arrive here on Saturday, so I'll have them say hi to you when they get here. So that'll be Saturday, so you'll have to wait a whole week to see who it is. Anyway, I'm sure some of you know who it is anyway. So thanks again. I really appreciate you watching, and I hope you enjoyed this week's video. Have a great weekend. Take care and have fun.